What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the COTACast. I'm Brian Bermudez, and I'm the host of the Crafted Air podcast, the aviation podcast that really just expands your knowledge in each and every episode. Join me and my guest as we explore the untold world of aviation together. I'm so glad that you guys are tuned in for another episode. And as you guys can see, I am joined by another very special guest in this episode. I have a former student of mine, somebody that has really good insights and somebody that I really enjoyed speaking to after classes and after labs. And somebody that when he was a freshman, he had some really good stuff to tell me, and we always found something to conversate about. I'm joining Michael to the show, Big Mike, as I refer to him. Thank you for joining me and our guests on this episode of the CODAcast.
Thank you so much, Brian. Pleasure to be in this podcast with you. We talked about it that we have a lot in common, and we have a lot to talk, and that's why we are doing this. And I really appreciate that you invited me in your podcast.
Well, thank you so much for making the time. I know you're a family man and a hardworking guy, studying, working multiple jobs, and you taking the time is a big thing. But I titled this episode, Mike, from Europe to Queens, because I thought of these two very unique, diverse backgrounds where you were born, raised, where you came from, and now we're like in the iron jungle in Queens, New York. Everything is crazy, and it's just so interesting the way our paths crossed. And I want you to share with our viewers and listeners a little bit about where you're from and what brung you to Queens, New York, out of all the places in the world where we met.
So my name is Michael Meminaj. Um, I am from Albania. I was like born in like a small village in Albania. Um, my childhood was like a really interesting time. I was really like young, 3, 4 years old when the communism uh, collapsed. Uh, but and after we had like a transition from 1990 till like 1997, and a civil war breaks out. But a rough time. It was, I
Huh.
cannot say that it was like an easy to live as a young boy. Because Albania was like under communism, we had like two dictators. Um, but yeah, I was like a really tall guy actually, and by age of 12, um, me and my father we was going actually in a city to get some supplies because my family is in a wine business and farming as well. Yes, we have our own land, we have the grape, and we have all of that stuff.
Interesting.
We do it ourselves. I know how to do it as well.
Interesting.
Yes, I know how to make wine. I'm telling. Um, and At the moment when we was at this location, we was buying some supplies. One of the coaches, the local coaches of basketball, noticed me and approached my father and asked him if he can try me as a basketball player. And from then on, my career in basketball began. So this we're talking about 1999. So from then, that time till like 2014 to 15, 2014, I won the green card. 2015, I moved to America. But I had like almost like a 16 years of career, which is like amazing. That was my ticket to technically uh, be uh, get away from all the other stuff that was happening in Albania, because a rough country, not like the best country for somebody that won good and won something good for themselves. Most of the people they left the country in the early 90s. Whoever was like young, they just did not want to stay there anymore. They left the country, and it's happening every day. It's a sad story about Albanian. Almost like nine times the amount of people lives outside Albania than lives inside, which is again another like a sad story about Albania. But I really like had like a great time because I was a young boy that I got to travel for free all around my country, which I enjoyed so much with my friends that was doing exactly the same thing. And in the highest level of the basketball, because I started being a professional basketball player at the moment. I played also with the national team. I represented my country for some years in a row as well. And at that position, when you are in that type of position, you getting access to anybody in the city where you're from. You are invited in any kind of event, sport related, or any kind of event that can be, and you have access to anybody. So uh, it it did give me a lot of how can I say, like, confidence to talk to people and to be more social, because I was not that social in the beginning. During that time, obviously, I also finished my study as a nurse.
Wow.
Yes. Also, before that, I did also like a course, like a technical course for like food technology, because I wanted to get this license that my family wanted for to get to sell that wine also
I see.
uh, outside of Albania. And I had to do like 3 years plus two specialization about like wine. So I know so many things about how to make wine.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you for some recommendations on that. But that's incredible. But continue though with that. I mean,
Yeah. So yeah, I did get the bachelor degree as a nurse. I was like obviously uh, all the time, all by from the moment that I discover basketball, which at the moment that this coach approached my father, that asked him like to try me as a basketball player. That was the moment when my life like start being exposed to America,
ah,
in, because I start watching the NBA games. I started relating with America, because before I was exposed mostly to Italian and Greek TV.
mm,
So even I speak Italian as well, and I understand the Greek as well, because everything in
was
Albania,
everything on
almost
TV?
everything was in TV. Because imagine, like, before the 90s, we had only one channel. And after the 90s, people, because you was not allowed to watch TV outside of Albania.
Ah,
And it was, again, like, we're talking about an era that does not exist anymore, but not any stories that from my family and my cousins and everybody that I know, all the stories that come from that era, well, it's brutal. They was coming with a tape measure to measure the antenna. I don't know if you know what is antenna, but most of the people that are
yeah.
young, they don't know what is antenna.
Wait, let me get this straight. They were coming to measure the antennas because they thought maybe people were getting outside channels, things they were supposed to be watching under the dictatorships.
Yes. And if you get out of the like, you make the antenna a little bit bigger, you, your family, your loved ones, you're going to be persecuted, you're going to be in a jail for I don't know how long. That was type of how brutal was the dictatorship at the time. So um so yeah, after the 90s, people wanted to see what's going on outside of the world, and I remember that I saw one of my uh, the guys that lived in my neighborhood, that he modified the antenna, and he modified the antenna with Coca-Cola cans. he he attached them in a piece of wood, like a cross piece of wood, and he make it longer, and he attached all of them. It's aluminum, obviously. Can It's a good
It's a
receiver, I
good
guess, from
conductor, yeah.
conductor. Yes. And what happened is that he started getting channels from Italy, from Greece, and this is what I did. I remember
Ah,
I I did exactly the same thing that he did, and I remember the time that I put it on and I see this images that was coming from outside Albania. Was like really impactful, to me, because I didn't know anything what they were saying. It was a language that I did not understand, but was like because I was obsessed to watch cartoons, obviously. But
Of course.
this is how I also speak. I learned Italian, and also I speak
Agrees.
Greek as well. But yeah, that's
That is, that's incredible. And thinking about that, and going, I forgot to mention this during the intro, professional basketball player. And now that you mentioned that story, Mike, where do you think, what would you think you would have been destined to do if you weren't discovered by that coach that said, "Hey, this guy has some talent"? Would you have maybe just worked with your family and in the wine business there, or would you still have wanted something more outside of Albania at the time?
uh, since I was like a kid, as far as I remember, it's a feeling that you can't explain. It's inside you. I always knew that
Mm,
I'm gonna be temporary here. I mean, in my country. I always knew that I'm gonna be somewhere else. Always, always, because it started with the dreams. Every time that I was dreaming, always I was dreaming not only in Albania,
mm,
but also my dreams was going beyond things that I couldn't understand. So I always knew it was a feeling, even though I was doing my life there, everything like I was proceeding with my life. I had a good life compared to a lot of people actually. Um, but I always knew that I'm going to live outside of Albania.
yeah.
That was like a feeling that never left me until I got to America actually. But if I did not do basketball, either or I would be in politics or I would be in military. This
Ah,
was like my two things that I would be like definitely politic or in military.
and you went to school, got your degree, and you were a registered nurse. What was
Yes.
something that interested you in that? Was it helping people? Was it making people feel better?
So I was young. When you are young, sometimes you cannot decide about what do you want. You don't decide yourself. You you see also the people around you, what they do, and you absorb, and also what family is suggesting you to do. And I made a not mistake. I made a decision based on also the university that was in my city because I did not
Ah,
want to go in another city. I wanted to be near to my family. And which was the best degree to obtain in my city, in my opinion, was like getting this degree as a nurse. And you don't have limits. Like, listen, we have my classmates now at the school. I have some of them that are like 50, 55. It doesn't have like a limit. You can take as many as
mhm.
you want. But that was like the process of me deciding what school am I going to like be in, and that's why I make a decision. I said like I'm gonna stay in my city, which calls Vlora, south of Albania. It's like a beach town. It's a really really beautiful. Everybody, if you wanna like check it
I
out,
know
it's
it
like
sounds
amazing.
beautiful. The name sounds beautiful alone.
And and yeah, so this is how I made the decision based on that actually, based
When
on
when
like yeah, go ahead.
Based on that, yeah. When I think about all of this, you did a lot when you were growing up and when you were younger and going to college and becoming a professional basketball player and going through all of these things happening inside of your country. What was something that kept you going? What kept you motivated to continue going and say, no, I know there's something that's going to be better out there than everything that's going on here.
So I, it's a satisfaction that it's again like it's something that is a. Are you satisfied? I never was satisfied with what I had.
Mm, Hmm.
It's not I did not enjoy it. I enjoy it fully. I was like, uh, I was blessed from the God that I was lucky to be in that type of situation when I was somebody that was respected in my city. People knew me when I was walking around. People were saying, "Hi, hey, hi, Mike, how you doing, Miklavan?" Uh, so, so that was like amazing. But the thing is that it's a small country, and people also, as I said, they was leaving left and right, and this like thing that it was like always with me that I have to like because I had a lot of I knew that I had a lot of potential. I wanted to get out from there, and it was something inside me that always was saying like you have to be in another country.
Hmm.
And the interesting part is that I was relaying more with America than any other country because I could go anywhere else because obviously basketball. Interesting part of it is that basketball or movies, I knew America through only two these two things.
Uh,
So when I moved here, it's a totally different story.
I'll ask you about what your favorite American movie is later, towards the end of the thing. Now, I just come up with questions like that. But when
Goodfellas,
come,
by the way.
yes, good, perfect. All right, you adjusted to this new life. You moved over here to this country where, nothing's really easy in the beginning, I guess. But let's talk about your experience as an international student. What's your biggest culture shock for you, both in the life of New York City and in the classroom, you know?
So, um, as I said, like in 2014, I won the lottery as a green card holder, and from then on, a year later, I moved here. At first, I moved in Michigan. Probably I did not
Mm.
say to you. So, because I had somebody there that hosted me, a friend of mine that hosted me there. So, as I said a little bit earlier, that America for me was envisioning totally different because through basketball or through movies, that was like two things that I knew America. Um, and when I moved to Michigan, what was to me because I come from a city that is like a city that it's a vacation city, which everybody from Albania with Albanian nationality, anybody that lives anywhere in the world that it's calls himself Albania, they come to visit that city. And the social life in that city is like glowing. It's like people love to like interact with each other. Like
Uh,
it's an interesting thing about like Albania in general. Like every city in the evening, people they take a walk for like a 2-3 hours and they socialize. When I moved to Michigan, I don't want to say anything bad about Michigan because it's a
Go ahead.
it's it's
It's
uh, it's
it's
good.
different.
Don't get me wrong. It was cold.
Yes. Oh
That
yeah.
was one thing that for me was like I'm not gonna handle this for long. Obviously, right off the bat, I was like planning my escape, but uh, yeah, the culturally shocking to me was like I was living in this condo apartments, and was nobody was saying you did not know nobody there.
And no
And
one
they
was
know,
saying hello or
know what?
anything.
Yeah, you see people, you don't even see people. You see the door that slams.
Yeah.
They go to the car, they go to work, and they come back and they slam the door. They go in and they do whatever. Yes, and you have a sidewalk, but you don't have people that walks there. And the first week or so, I was just going around my the place where I live, and I did not saw a soul walking around. It was interesting, and that was like a really like impactful with me. And I was like
Yeah.
really saying to myself, like, am I doing like something wrong, or did I do like a mistake
Uh,
or what? Um, and obviously, I get over it, and I also found a job at the moment, because when I moved here, I was 28 years old, and as America does, the thing is that they consider everything as a business. So basketball is a business in America. They want young kids because they need to sell them.
Yep.
They need years to take from them. If you are in your peak at 28, you're gonna give another like 4 or 5 years, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yep.
So nobody want to take that risk to take you as a basketball, even if you was the superstar. Nobody needs you. You
Not
need
at
to be young.
28. Yep.
Exactly. So I didn't. I mean, I did talk to myself. I'm not delusional. I said like I know how it is, the limits and everything. So I took a different route. I said like I'm gonna build totally different life. But again, like to the part of how impactful was. I mean, you move from one building to another building, and it's impactful.
That's true.
Now imagine from one continent to another continent, how impactful it is. Culturally, physically, I mean, even the diet that you have to, the food that you
Ah,
have to eat,
I didn't even think
even,
about that.
yes, it's interesting. Even the smells, everything was smelling different to me, obviously, because I come from a different culture. We have a different diet, etc. So uh, everything was impacting me. Everything was like I was trying to understand everything. My English was not that good. I had like a terrible English
Hmm.
at the time, so I had to stick with mostly Albanians that I have around, which kept me a little bit behind, you know.
Ah,
And I start working in this company that is like a luxury company for granite and marble. Um, they had some Italian machines, and I was working as a technician there. I understand those type of things. And most of them, there was Albanians there, and the owners was Albanian. So I did
right
not have
in.
so much, yeah. But I wanted to learn as fast as I can English, because I'm sorry,
Yeah,
if you don't have anywhere in the world you move, obviously English is the first language that you need, but you have to learn the language of that country, because otherwise you're gonna feel like you are a little boy that you need somebody to take you by the hand
yeah.
and bring you anywhere to show you how things are done.
When you just now that you mentioned that, learning another language amongst everything else that you have to learn and all the things, I didn't even think about that. Even the sense, the smells, everything is different. You're from a different continent. But thinking about learning, how is the education system different here in the United States than what you remember and are accustomed to from Albania? Is it like night and day, or is it like, well, it's a little bit difficult, but I've gotten used to it. There's nothing I can't handle, and especially being a college graduate already.
It's like night and day. It's
Mm,
totally different, because in general, in Albania, especially Eastern European countries and Asian countries as well, like you can do a research about it, but and a lot of European countries as well, they are gravitating a little bit now, like they changing over time, and they gravitating toward America system. But what I went through is totally different, like night and day. Why? Because we couldn't choose what professor we like. We couldn't choose what major. It's like whatever your professors, your parents gonna make you study.
that's it. Yeah.
That's it. Now we're talking about like even in early 90s, when Albania was open to the world, still the authority of the professor was just a little bit underneath of the authority of your parents.
Uh,
That's how much seriously like the school system was in Albania. And forget about it, before the 90s, you was totally like the government owns you.
yeah.
Even if they come in like 3 a.m. in the morning and shake you up, wake you up, you have to know all of the
Wow.
propaganda bullshit that they was like push into the, to the people.
Oh,
But yeah, in America, and especially now that I'm in a school, I'm halfway there. I'm so glad,
that
happy.
happened so
Um,
quick. Yeah.
now I see like you can change anytime you want. I mean, not anytime you want, but you can
Right, but
change it.
yeah, for the most
You
part.
have the option like to change it. Listen, I don't like, for example, I don't like McLaren. I want Brian to teach this class,
Yeah.
so I can change it. Or I don't like this subject, I can
Change.
change it. So that's like how different it is, like the school system that America has than European, technically, and Asian countries as well. They have really strong in a mathematics, in a physics,
Mhm.
in biology. Really, they have they're not gonna tolerate it. That's how it is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I was the best student.
Not a star student,
I, I,
but
I, but I went through the college, and I, I did what I had to do, like to finish the college, which,
you
yeah,
graduated.
yeah,
They
I,
graduate top of the class, but he graduated. He got it done.
I graduated, yes.
Mike, when you think about, you're pursuing a career now in aviation maintenance. So wait, before I get to that, what attracted you? So now for those of the viewers and listeners waiting for the aviation part, we're getting there, right? So what
Right.
attracted you to aviation specifically? I mean, we know that you were a technician formerly. You worked not only in that granite factory, but I know you mentioned that you worked for your family trying to get that
Yes,
certificate for 2 years. So you were a technician, you're familiar and you're probably good with your hands. But what
yes.
got you to aviation specifically?
So, um, in when I was living in Michigan, as I said that I was not happy about the choice that I made to be there. In the same time, when I was like doing this job that as a technician in this company, I retained the CDL license as a truck driver because I wanted something else that if I move, because I wanted to move in New York actually. And after I finished it, I got the license as a CDL, like commercial driver license. I had my best friend was like living in New York City at the time, and I came to visit him. And I remember I was driving through George Washington Bridge, and I was looking on my right, and I was looking at the view of Manhattan,
Yeah, I love that part.
and um, and it just stick in my head. I said to my, it was just a moment that he was living in Westchester because I got the bridge, and I was
Yeah,
going
going
like
up, you have to
north.
go up.
Yes,
Yeah,
but that view of the first view that I saw Manhattan
yeah.
just stick in my brain, and it just something in me say like, oh, this is the city you have to be.
The view that Mike is talking about, real quickly, is I take the drive every day, and I always stop to take a look to my right if there's no cars in front of me. But it's that good, the view that he's talking about, because if you see it, and especially at night, and you can see the whole thing, it's very inspiring to see just it's the whole city's laid out if you look that direction that he's speaking about. But anyway, Mike, keep going. So you got the taste. You got the taste of New York.
And this friend of mine, he's my best friend. He's like a brother to me. That the same day, it was a little bit late, but the same day he said like we're going out, and we went out. We went to Manhattan. We went to so many clubs, and I mean, till like 4 or 5 a.m. in the
Yeah,
morning, and I was so happy after it. I said
yeah.
like, this is what I have to be. I mean, I have to do, and I want to be here. So that was like really, really interesting. So I go back. I drive back 11 hours because I stayed only 2 days. And those 2 days probably I slept or I did not sleep at all. I don't remember.
Yeah, you went
It
out.
was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like out. I drove back to Michigan, and um, a month later,
I see.
I came to New York. And from then on, so I came to New York 2017 on September 12th, 2017. From then on, because I want to say like how I get in the AMP mechanic
Yeah, yeah.
license. So from then on, in 2018, early 2018, actually, I met my future wife, and that was also another how's it called, impactful thing that happened to me, that I need to stay in this city because not
Yeah.
just love the city, but I love everything about it.
You love this, you fell in love with this
Yes.
woman that you did a future wife in New York City.
So in the beginning, I was working in a company that there was like a construction company owned by an Albanian as well, because we have a big community, over 100,000 in New York City. Two main businesses are like we are as Albanians in New York City, mostly in construction or in restaurant business.
Wow.
Technically, 65% of the restaurants, that Italian restaurants in New York City, are owned by Albanian, actually.
Get that.
Yeah, go to Little Italy and go walk around. They may speak Italian, but ask them where you're from. They will say to you that I'm Albanian.
Ah,
And a lot of Greek restaurants in Astoria that are owned by Albanian as well.
I probably eaten at a few then. Yeah, that's for sure.
Um, so what happened is that during that time I was working as a truck driver in this construction company that was changing like sewers and pipes for the city.
Okay.
So during like the time that I was working for them, I was not happy because you still have to stay in a place where you don't grow. You don't have any
Hmm.
room to grow. That was just initially. I did not want to, like, because it's expensive, the life here. You still have to do something, especially in New York City. I was
Yep.
living with a roommate at the moment. So what happened is that this friend of mine, actually my cousin, sorry, my cousin, he suggested to me, like, why you don't do Uber? This is when I discover that you can make money driving people and make a good money.
And the busiest city in
So,
the world. Yeah.
busiest city in the world. I was lucky to get the license plate as a TLC license, like taxi and limousine
Very
commission
hard
license
to get,
plates.
right? Wasn't that
They
hard to
don't
get?
they don't issue anymore. So that
Hmm.
was the last year that they issued, and I was from the last people that got to retain those license plates because I have taxi license. So from then on, I was working I was working with Uber, which my English got to get better. I got to, like, drive people and interact with
That's
everybody
why, yeah.
from all kind of background, religion, nationality, country, culture, name them, all group ages, interesting. I never thought how, like, interesting and unique is this job, because people, when say Uber, they don't think so much about it. But if you see it how I see it, it's a really, really unique place to be, because all my time that I'm doing Uber, I drove close to like 40,000 people.
Wow.
So I am a talkative guy. I always choose to chat with my riders, which like almost happen like 85 to 90% of the time. So you have people that they can be in too many different backgrounds, that you can ask real question and you can have like a real answer about anything that you want in your life, or what you need like to do the taxes, for example, or you have some money on the side, you want to like
Invest it.
invest
Yeah.
those money, so you interview maybe 20 of them and you keep track who said what.
Ah,
But in the same time, I do also my research about like people that can be from, I don't know, from Canada, and I ask them, "Do you like this or that about Canada?" And I do also, it's things that I do in my daily basis life that that if I was in a different position, I would never have the chance to meet these people.
I
And
was gonna say,
almost like
wait, go ahead, say that.
almost like every week, I'm gonna have like a famous a famous person that's gonna be riding with me.
Wow.
That's and I discover usually because as I said, like I try, but I choose to interact and chat with them. Um, and when I ask them, what do you do for a living? Let's say I have Brian. Hey, Brian, what do you do for a living? After like we had this chit chat in the beginning, and we get into whatever topic that we was discovering, and you say like, well, I am a aircraft technician, or
Hmm.
I am, and this is how you discover a lot of things, and people what they do for a living, and I'm an actor, I'm an
Hmm.
athlete, or I am a scientist.
In New York, you probably heard everything. I mean,
I've seen everything.
yeah, I was gonna say, you got actors, famous people, lawyers, doctors.
Really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. Like, and you go through through the seasons that New York goes through all the time. When you have the holidays, you're gonna have people from all
Ah,
over the world. That's another way to like connect with everyone. You can see, you can feel, you can talk to them. It's amazing if you again like you see this job as I see it. And my English got way better. My way of thinking got way better. I was more open to a lot of things that I thought that I was not. Uh, I did not have enough. Let's say knowledge, and when I got that knowledge, I was more open to understand it and to
hmm.
listen it. Amazing to me. It was like I'm really blessed about that. Uh, so pandemic happened in midway. I had other let's say like everybody else, you do think what's going to happen in the future and what do you want to do in the future. I had some project in my mind, not finished yet, but you go through it and you think that I'm like temporary in this business and I'm gonna go in another business. Mostly about like my brain was thinking like let me open a business, let me do
Gotcha.
something else, let me open a business. That was like my brain all the time, because if you stay in your like mostly with your community, you see all of these other guys, that young guys that come in like in America,
Mhm.
no language, no nothing, and they go in right off the bed and they open the first business, the second business, the third business. That type of mindset was going through my mind at the time, even though I was like making a really good money with Uber as well. Because I'm workaholic, I love to work,
I know.
because this type of job made me more attracted to be more and more around and work, because every second of my day that I was working was like a surprise who's coming in my car. That was like really like pushing me do more
Yeah.
and more and more. Money obviously, but that. So what happened is that pandemic happened, and all of those like dreams that I had, they fall down.
For a lot of people, most people, yeah. Overnight. Yep.
Overnight. So on 2022, I'm sorry, uh, my wife gets pregnant, and she gave a birth on December, and then is when my brain, everything changed, which means that from then on, I was looking for something that is like steady, and I was really sensitive about anything that was happening around me, because I have a baby girl as well, and I was like
Hmm.
protective.
Yep.
So the most important thing for me was like I want like a job that has a good insurance, because if you do like what I do, you don't have any type of insurance, like
Right.
nothing. But if you are a single guy, or if you are like even married guy, if you don't have kids, you still can manage it. Nothing gonna happen. So that was the tipping time when I start thinking about like how can I do a job. First of all, I mean, how can I be in a business that first of all can I can do this anywhere in the world,
Uh,
not only in America. That was my first initial thought. Second initial thought was like um, insurance.
mhm.
My other thought was like a field that I can grow and can go either ways, not be in like stuck in one industry and you get that license. Let's say, for example, like you be in finance, you get stuck in finance,
Yeah, yeah,
or in accounting, you get stuck in accounting, or whatever in whatever field that you just stay there, and that's like a classic jobs. I'm not saying that it's bad.
no,
I mean, more power to whoever does it. Like they're making a ton of money. I got to talk to them, respect them. But I was like trying to like find a way, a field where I don't want to be stuck. I can go either ways. So this is when my research, not only me, my wife as well,
nah,
when she had all the free time, she was just checking what is like the best field to be in, especially she knows me what I want, what I like,
good point.
and another thing to combine together because I was thinking about so many things in the same time. So I was thinking also what is the reward system. So if I do this job, because I do as an Uber, it's a reward system. I love to do it. But if I move in another business, what's the reward system gonna how impactful gonna be to me? And I know that if I try to fix something, it gives me pleasure. So that was another thing that like pushed me and direct me, because you know how it is, like once you make up your mind, like you want to switch and you want to do switch gears and you want to do something else,
Yes.
things gonna appear in your life. Short enough, I mean, I was checking so many different fields, like including like even plumbing and electrician and HVAC, all of that. No interested. I mean, you can, but it would take like 5 or 6 years to build like a business, how to really like cash out money.
To get my, yeah.
Yes, and it was not like my first initial thought about the money, because I was making money. I can still make money anytime I want because I have this business that I have. So that was when I was pushed toward this type of field, and shortly enough, one of our good friend, he already like just got the license maybe a week ago
Uh,
actually, and I'm happy for him. And he said to me like, "Oh, well, I'm in school. Why you don't check it out this school, the college, the Van College?" And I said like, "Where is this?" And he said to me, "It's by LaGuardia. We have a lot there that all the Ubers that are right in
yeah, I
across
just
the
was gonna
street."
say you're always there.
I was like, I have the parking spot. I said, I don't need to let go there.
I'm always
So,
there.
yeah, and we went check it out online. We see all the majors, and you can see there also how much you're getting paid, and you can see the aircraft mechanic is the less pay. And I said like, this is the one that I want to do, because for some of them I'm too old to be qualified, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna ask you.
So this is how I like land in this college actually.
It's
But yeah, from then on it's
when you think about it, and really New York is such a unique place because you're studying something. We mentioned LaGuardia Airport, which is just right across from the campus, but you got
right.
JFK, you got HPN, you got Newark in New Jersey, which you probably driven passengers to all these airports, but there's so much opportunity, right? One of the busiest aviation areas in the country over here, you know? it's been interesting, right? Going into everything that's happening, being an international student, I'm sure it already comes with some challenges, right? And you add the aviation maintenance aspect to it, is probably a whole new batch of stuff. You know, what's what's been the biggest shock to you as far as what we're learning in the college about aviation maintenance? Do you think that it was going to be like more in depth, or do you think it was going to be is about right, or you're expecting to learn more when you get out there? Like how is it so far? You mentioned you're halfway through it. You're almost getting ready to the halfway point, thinking about graduation and all that already. Um, how's it been?
I mean, um, first of all, it was hard for me to convert everything in my brain from like a metric system that we use there in.
Ah,
That was
I
also
forgot about
another
that.
like, yeah, another like you know, another like energy consuming, I can say, to do all of that conversion in my head, and that was just the beginning. But the hard part is not hard part, but it's like adapting with the technical training that is required, and including all of like understanding the complex mechanisms that they have there. So this just the introduction of it like was like for me was like am I start doubting myself in some moment, am I going to be good in it? But once you get a feel, you know um, you understand that these are everything you going by the books. You don't do something that
Yeah,
by your head. You don't need to like technically think that where this nut or this bolt is going to go. You have a description, even everything about that, where this one going to go.
yep.
So that gives me a little give me like a little bit of like peace, because obviously the fact that I'm not like native English speaker, the jargon and with the communication in English also is going to be like a little bit a barrier as well until
Yeah.
like you understand, because these are not these are not easy in a sense of like you don't take this one lightly, because those aircraft, they carry people, and you have to be really really precise about everything you do. That's why you refer in everything, you refer in the books. You don't do anything by yourself, like. But so far, I'm happy. It's giving me such a pleasure. I overcome all of those fears that can I do a school in America in another language, in another set of different ways to do anything. I'm talking personally, but everybody else. But it's interesting. Also, another thing is that half of my classmates, they are already working in the industry,
Mm.
and the another like quarter of them, they coming from a military background as well.
Hmm. Yep.
So they already knew what was the good thing about this field, compared to me that I had did the whole research. Like somebody told them from before. They had the field. Some of them, they worked in a military with equipment. They know how to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so but it's really interesting, because I don't see so many like guys like me that are like totally different, come from a different totally background, and did my research to find this type of field.
You, you took your job as Uber as not a job. You took it as an opportunity. You took it as an opportunity to speak to people. You learned another language, and you would research different things that were interesting you as you went along, you know?
Absolutely, that's the best part of that type of job,
Yep.
because you hear things that normally you're not going to hear.
Yeah.
You know, even let's say, for example, you are with somebody, another businessman, and you're discussing business. Even that one information that you can talk in my car, I can listen it, I can
Yeah.
hear it. I can put it to work in
That's
my
unique.
daily life,
Yes.
you know. It depends how you see it. I see it like this, you know.
Very
And I
yes.
try to like because I'm interested in anything, any type of thing. So this is how a lot of time like I discover things like just by hearing from somebody else, you know. And again, like for the school here, this is how like everything pushed me, brought me here. Another thing is that, as I said, like this field, once you get the AMP license, you are not tied to only the aviation
I was just gonna
industry.
ask, that was my next question. Yeah, what are the opportunities? Like where do you see yourself and do you see yourself fixing planes at an airport? Do you see yourself owning a business? Like what is it in aviation maintenance?
So initially, obviously, I want to work in the industry. I want to have a feel. I want to have. I want to get like all that experience that comes with it because it's precious. You need to be in a field. You need to touch things. You need to do that report. You need to know how to do that report. You need to, because also in aviation industry, everything changes also over
Yeah.
time, and sometimes quickly. If something happen, they're gonna change it. You know, all the ADs that they putting out. Um, that's the initial, but I mean, my goal is like I want to pursue the engineering as electrical engineering. That's the next thing because I see the future from now as we see. Look at the AI stuff. Look at
Yep.
everything. It's about electrical systems. Now, sorry, if you are licensed as AMP, as you know, like people that don't know, um, you are licensed as an electrician as well. You can work in the industries that have electric systems on, but also you can work in the industries that has hydraulic systems on
Yep.
because they have the same basics. They go by the same principles. It doesn't change from one industry to another
No.
industry. So you can work for the MTA, but you can
The
work
energy company, yep.
for Canedison, you can work for any electric system that these industries they are on. And the future, it's like more and more and more and more. It's something that it's not disappearing.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
it's a job that I mean, I don't think that the robot's gonna be able anytime soon to do that type of job that humans that have to be there to do that.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mike. You know, we speak so much about these jobs that are being replaced around the world with AI, but it's going to be really difficult to do that with something. And like you mentioned, you thought about that when you had your daughter, when you gave birth to your daughter, and you thought to yourself, what's something that is going to support my family for a sustained period of time? It's not just right now, you know, and that's playing into that. You know, what is what as we there were other questions, but we just started going off the script because me and Mike just do, you
That's
know,
all
we
right.
just talk. But Mike, when you think about other people that may be watching this or listening to this and they're maybe in other parts of the world or maybe in other states and they're trying to think about getting into maybe this type of industry, but they're also fearful or they're also hesitant. What's a piece of advice that you could give some people, you know, especially everything that you have gone through in order to get to where you are today?
Um, I so during the time that I drive people, I see how like sad are some people that are in some industries. So what I could say to everybody that will listen this videotape, this podcast, is that whoever you are, if you are stuck in like some corporation jobs, like as an accountant, for example, or I don't know, whatever you can think of, any financial industry or any type of other industries that you gotta stay in the same place, in the same desk, and do the same thing over and over again. Guys, you have so many different opportunities, but as I said, like this field, it's one of the best field in my opinion to be in because you are not limited. So if you are stuck in some jobs that you hated, you don't want to be there just because you took the degree and you have a ton of loans to pay back, and you are stuck in that loophole. I think you should give it a try. Just at least like just do your research, and because these type of jobs, they have so much of rewarding. They're gonna give you so much, and you're gonna have so many variety of people from all type of backgrounds that does the same thing from everywhere in the world.
Yeah,
And
it's
this
true.
is what I want to say to everybody that listen to this one. Like, if you are stuck, just give it a try. Check it out. Check it out. This it's amazing field. It's again like gonna give you a lot of pleasure to be fixing. Imagine like you're fixing airplanes. You don't fixing cars.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
fixing airplanes. Amazing, amazing. It's like those airplanes are amazing to look at them.
yeah,
But yeah, this is what I would say to everybody. Like, if you are stuck in any kind of job, don't look at that. If you're gonna click there, you're gonna say to you like you make this X amount of money if you are a
yeah.
mechanic. Don't look at that, because maybe in a week, in 1 week, you can make a $30,000-$40,000 in 1 week
Yeah.
alone.
Good point, Mike. Yeah.
You guys don't understand that in this field you can make a ton of money if you wanna work.
Yep.
You want to work, you're going to make a ton of money. It's all up to you. For the money part, it's like you're going to make money. Just check it out. This is what I could say to everybody.
Mike, I could keep talking to you forever. We're gonna have to. This would may be the longest episode, but this was great. We gotta
Oh,
keep having you back on, and we have to
anytime.
do a follow up because you're getting there. I felt like it was last semester that you were a freshman, and you're already halfway through the whole thing.
Halfway there,
Uh,
yeah. This summer is done. I'll get
yeah,
the license.
we're gonna have to have Mike come back on, and who knows, maybe on a couple of episodes going into the future. But Mike, any last thoughts, Mike? Anything else that you wanted to share with us, really?
So uh, I'm happy that you're doing this, because I also did the research about like people, they don't really know nothing about this one. So they think when you say like a mechanic,
Yeah, right?
a lot of people, they think that it's like a low job, or like,
Yeah,
I don't know why is this perception. I'm happy and I'm glad that you're doing it. Listen, I hope that this podcast is gonna go viral. I hope
I think it
people
is.
see it. Uh, People need to understand that these are really good jobs. These are really, really good jobs. You're gonna have all the benefits of flights. You go anywhere in the world, you're paying only the international fees. In America, you pay zero money if you are in the industry across all the airlines as well.
Yep.
Like, you can fly yourself, your loved one, your kids, your parents, your friends. You can fly anywhere in the world. These are some things that you don't even understand until you get in the industry.
Hmm.
And this is what I am happy that you are doing it, because the industry has mostly like pilots that does podcast, but it's not a lot of guys that work with this aircraft that these pilots like flying. So we need more people like you to like guide people. People to see what's going on, because we're living in a time that most of the information you get it through the internet, through the
Yeah.
podcast. So that's why like I did not saw so many doing this one, and more power to you, because it's a really, really good niche. You have to like go and do more and more podcasts. This
Yes,
is what what I can say.
he's right. And you know what? If you guys remember, I think it was EP 55, but Mike was the reason that I even started making them. It was because he was in my class and he said, you know what? You keep making them. So if anybody likes the show, to the 100 subscribers, thanks to Big Mike here. But Mike, it was really a pleasure to have you. I really do appreciate you sharing everything that you did. And I found out so much in this episode. Wasn't aware.
Yeah, well, we talked a lot. That's why.
Oh, it's
At the
great.
school, we was talking like 5, 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Because everybody has to go to school. I mean, to the class. But we can do
compliment.
it. We can do it again. Definitely, we can
I was
definitely
gonna
do it
say,
again.
you're welcome back anytime. Everybody, thank you so much for Mike being on this episode. Thank you so much for viewing and listening, and we'll be seeing you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.